Well, good evening. Hello, how are you all out there? So good to see you. Isn't it wonderful to be here? Well, welcome to our Thursday night seance. I'm Psychic Bob. For those of you who don't know me, I'm a full-time professional psychic medium. And we gather here at my channel at Spiritual every Thursday to have an old-time spiritualist seance. Many of you know that I came up through the years and was trained and licensed in the Spiritualist Church. I'm still a member of the Spiritualist Church. Now I'm a member of the Spiritualists National Union out of the United Kingdom. They allow Americans to be members now. So I've joined with them and I'm reconnected to spiritualism. And today we're going to gather. I'm what's called a trance medium. In the Spiritualist Church, there are different types of seances. And one type is called trance mediumship, and that's where a medium goes into trance and the spirits overshadow their consciousness and speak through them. So we're going to do some trance mediumship tonight and see what the spirit people have. So I hope that you'll join us, and gather around with us. I had a little bit of spiritualist historical stuff to show you here, which I thought you might enjoy seeing. While searching and organizing my jewelry, I found one of my old spiritualist church membership pins. This is a spiritualist. Oops, let's see if we get the lighting right here. This is from the 1950s, 1960s. It's an old pin of the SNU. They don't make these anymore. It's made of enamel inlaid with gold and enamel. And it's a sun rising. That's a symbol of the SNU. It's like the sunrise, the light of the new day. And it's got a little book there, the spiritualist principles on it. And it says Spiritualist National Union. It's hard to see, it's backwards on here, but it goes around Spiritualist National Union. But I have that little pin. I haven't put on my lapel. I got to put that on, but I'll do that a little later. But I thought you'd enjoy seeing this old vintage pin from the 1950s. I think stuff was made better back then. I just do. This is my old pin. Okay. How do you like that? Can you guys see that? You can see the gold on it. It's really, I think they're lovely pins. And this is my new pin, just to give you a comparison. This is the current National Spiritualist Union pin, which is similar. It has the sun rising over the book, and it says truth, Spiritualist National Union. So actually, what does it say? It says light and truth. The principles that light and truth are the principles. That's it. Light, it's hard to see, it's backwards. And truth, and there's the spiritualist manual. It's hard to see, there's a sun rising in the background. That's my current pin, which I like it too. I just think the old ones were prettier, just my opinion. What do you guys think? Do you like the old one or the new one better? What do you think? Oh my gosh, there's Sydney Zimmer. Hi, Sydney. There's Robin Boston. There's Lady Jane. Oh my gosh, you guys are great. So good to see you guys. Sydney says, super cool. Yeah, thank you. Amy says, yes, I can see your pins. Cool. Yay. All right. Robin says, I like both pins. All right. Well, anyways, I just thought you'd like to see that because I, as a member of the SNU, which I'm very proud to be a member of it, for a long time, they only allow British citizens to be members because it's based out of the United Kingdom. But, I love their organization. And so to get this old vintage pin, I think it's mint condition. Not bad from 1950. So I had to put it on my lapel. Maybe we put that on now. Let's see here. I don't know if I'm very coordinated if I can put that on. Let's see if we can do it. We'll give it a go. How's that sound? You know what? I'll put it on later. I'm going to poke myself, and I have to stay focused. Well, I'm so glad you guys are here. Welcome. Well, tonight we're going to have our seance. So I'm going to settle down and go into trance. As I like to say, I never know what's going to happen. So I hope that you'll just hang with me. One of the things as a medium is I have to tell people I can't guarantee anything will happen. I certainly hope it does, you know. But tonight we're going to work in the red light, okay? If you've never been to a seance, don't be afraid. It's a little different than you might be expecting. Baroness just says, I had a spiritualist church on every doorstep of every house I lived in. Yes, spiritualism in the United Kingdom is much larger than in the United States. And that's why I joined the Spiritualist National Union, because I wanted to be affiliated with them. They do a lot of activity and promotion of spiritualism, a lot of outreach work. So I'm a big fan of them. So we're going to work tonight in the red light. For those of you who may not know, it's traditional in spiritualist circles to work in soft or subdued lighting. Some more mediums work in dark. I like to work in red light. That's just me. So we're gonna put on the red light here, and we'll see what the spirit people have. Okay, does that sound good? All right, so there we go. All right. Oh, excuse me, I'm about to have a sneeze here. Excuse me, sorry about that. Lady Bree says, I wish there were more spiritualist churches in America. Yeah, me too. That's why I joined the British church. I feel like they do a lot. So, they put out magazine. I get their magazine every month. I get updates. I've got a hymnal, a manual. I don't know. I just love the Spiritualist church. So, well, let's get ready for our seance, and I welcome you. So we're going to go into trance in just a little while. So let me set up here. We're going to go from the white light up into the red light. Ooh, how you like that, huh? All right. So let us just relax and see what's going on. There's Melinda Tournay. Hi, Melinda. Good to see you. There's Gary M. Excuse me. Amsterdamsel says, you don't have to put on the red light. Yeah, we do. Why not? We could do it in darkness, that's true, but that's just what I like to do, So anyways, I'm glad you're here. Welcome, everybody. Thank you for joining our seance tonight. All right. Well, I'm going to settle down, go into trance, and I'll see you when I get back. By the way, if you're interested, before I go into, because I'll forget this later, this Saturday, we're doing a class, a psychic development class on electronic voice phenomena. I'll send out a notice later tonight. But if you want to register for that, go over to my website, PsychicBob.com. Make sure to register because we're going to fill up. Don't wait till last minute because you won't get in, okay? So thank you for being here. All right. Well, I'll see you guys when I get back. I'm going to settle down into trance. Give me just a little while here to tune. Oh, there we go. Looks like we've got control of the medium's vibration. Well, good evening to all of you. This is Fletcher. So good to be back with all of you. Oh, so much soul glow going on out there. Oh, all of you have been hearing our calling. For those of you here tonight, so many of you have been called to our seance. Now, we may not be able to talk to each of you personally, but just know that being here means that you've been called by the spirit world, and I'm so pleased to have you here. Well, I'm so thankful for our medium here allowing us to work with him. You know, it takes a lot of energy out of his body, and I'm going to be standing guard to make sure that he's all right tonight. But I hope that you'll gather around, join our circle, and have a little bit of fun tonight. This is Fletcher. I'll be stepping from the medium. Over and out. Good evening. It is true what Fletcher has said. You have heard the calling of the spirit world. Some of you wondered if there is life after death. Let the voices that you hear tonight be a testimony to the reality of the spirit world. When I was a young man, I doubted the things of spirit. I rejected my parents' apparent religiosity. They're very strict. They always wanted to be going to church and demanding that I be reading the Bible. I do not believe that one should force spirituality on children. But I do not equally believe that one should abandon spirituality. Offer to your children spiritual light, spiritual truth, spiritual knowledge, and let them have some understanding. As they grow, they may seek to reject it, but at least they will know what they are rejecting. We see about the earth many families saying, I don't want to influence my child spiritually, and so they do not offer them anything. The child grows up in a voidness of mind, drifts into atheism in their older years. Parents, understand that your kindness to teach spiritual truths is not only a kindness, but I should say it is a necessity. If you understand the makeup of human beings, you will understand they are body, mind, and spirit. We call it the threefold self, the trinity of self. As good parents, you feed their bodies and nourish them. This takes care of the body. You send them to school to educate them. You stimulate their mind. But what have you done in terms of their spiritual lives? And if you say, well, we'll let that go, and when they're older, they can figure it out. This is not the answer. The answer is offer them various forms of spirituality. If you have none yourself, invite them to study at least philosophies and religions. It is important that the soul self be nurtured. And if one nurtures the soul self, then there will be a balance within the person. During my lifetime, I saw the Soviet Union rise, and I saw how the godless atheist communist philosophy destroyed the people of Russia. The people of Russia had a great faith in the Orthodox Church until the communists came and decimated their churches, robbed them of their spiritual lives, imprisoned some of them, in fact, for even daring to say they had faith in a higher power. We see today this travesty still playing out throughout the world. Where the eras of Russia have gone, atheism has followed in its wake. And so we invite you to renew your own faith in the exploration of spiritual truth. This is why we come from the spirit world. We come that you might have truth, might have knowledge, that you might understand that you are more than a mere collection of molecules, that you have a spiritual substance, a soul. If you are a person of faith and do have some belief in a higher power, why would you deny that to your offspring? You might say, well, I don't wish to force it. You can introduce them to spirituality in a way that will not be destructive. My parents, unfortunately, did not understand this, and it was forced upon me in great measure, which I resented. But had my parents simply said, Alfred, why don't you just come and join us for church this weekend, and left it at that, I might have been curious enough to go and listen. But what I received every day was a threat. You must go to church on Sunday. And if I said, oh, I'm a bit tired, I can't go, they would say, you're going to hell for rejecting God. And the fear they put in me made me want nothing to do with religion. Understand, dear parents, that there is a kind way to invite. Do not force, invite. That is the word I wish to say. Invite. Invite your children to embrace higher power. Do not force it. If they choose not, at least they know the door is open. But to give them nothing in fear of offending them will lead them in paths of emptiness and voidness, and they will not be a complete trinity of self. Remember, the body, the mind, and the spirit are essential. Feed all three, and you shall have healthy and happy families. There are others who wish to speak, Fletcher informs me, so I shall not stay. But I thank you for receiving me tonight. My name is Alfred. Greetings, my dears. My name is Rose. I do hope that you can hear me out there. It's such a blessing to be here with all of you. Do you know, when I listen to the wise souls such as Alfred and Fletcher, I cannot but reflect upon my own soul, my own journey. Alfred has spoken truth. I do think that one should offer spirituality to their children. Do you know, I was raised by my parents in the Church of England. And though it's true that I only half-heartedly believed, I did have at least somewhat of a grounding. And my parents were very good. They never said, Rose, you must go to church. They simply said, well, would you like to go to church? I go, let's go. You know, unfortunately, in my youth, I learned that there were important people in the church, and they got a lot of fanfare. When I was a young girl, probably about 11 or 12 years old, there was a very wealthy man, and when he died, he left the church £3 million. And I thought, what an enormous sum to leave the church. And you should have seen, they put placards up about him, and he was praised from the pulpit. I think it was a lovely gesture. But in my young self, I thought, oh, I want to get impressive, be impressive to the church. My family, as many of you know, were members of the aristocracy. We were already lauded, and I thought, as soon as I have a bit of money, I'm going to give to the church. But you see, my error was not that I gave out of love for the good work of the church. I gave out of vanity. I wanted to have plaques, and there were plaques put up in my church. I remember when I gave my first donation, it was £30,000. It was an enormous sum in those days, my dear, enormous. I thought, oh, I can't do that £3 million right now, but it's the beginning. You see, it was all a waste, my dear, because though the church did good with the money, I never gave with the right spirit. As Alfred was saying, you must have the right spirit about spirituality. One says it's not simply enough to go to church. One must give with the heart. One must lead with one's heart, I should say. If you do this, you shall be always in the light. Since I've come over here to the spirit world, I've had the understanding that love is the reigning principle. I can't say I did much in the way of love in my own life. It was all for show and vanity. Where you live and you learn. And you know, over here, infinite intelligence, which is what we call God, loves us all immensely. Some of you here tonight think that you're beyond love, but that's simply not true, my dears. You are loved, for you are children of God, veritably. And so do not hold on to fear that somehow you're rejected or you're not good enough. My mistake was that I never doubted my own goodness, much to the chagrin of my vicar. The vicar used to say to me, Rose, why don't you contemplate your soul? And I used to say, oh, I don't need to do that. I'll just put a little extra in the offering plate. I thought I could buy my way to heaven. But that did not happen. And as many of you know, upon my death, I found myself in the place of outer darkness. I'm very ashamed of it now. But you know, it is the mercies of God that brought me into the light. This medium held a seance one evening, a rescue circle, to help free souls who lived on the edge of the etheric, wanting to go to the light, but not knowing how or being afraid. I was one such soul. I wandered in that darkness for probably 60 years or more. I don't know. Time is different over here. But you see, in the spirit world, time is fluid. It's like a minute could be an hour could be a year. We don't have time here. So when I wandered in the darkness, I was very unaware of time. Well, as I said, I came over to the light, and it's made all the difference in the world. Some of you here tonight feel the calling of spirit to rescue souls such as I was. I do encourage all of you, please do not hesitate to help those souls. Call upon me, I shall help you. It has become my mission to help to rescue souls. There's a soul who has just come over from the darkness today. Many of us gathered to help him. We're going to try to let him speak tonight. We want him to understand the spiritual principles of life after death. It's a man who was an atheist. He was in great denial and he wandered in darkness. He finally let go of his stubborn ways. And we're going to let him speak here tonight. Bear with us as we try to bring him through the medium. We're not sure it will work, but we shall give it an effort. Fletcher, will you help me with this? We're going to let him speak now, my dears. I shall retire. We're going to put him through. Hold on. Yeah. My name is Frankie. Help me. I can't talk. I don't know how to do this. Can you hear me? They're saying they don't know if I'm transmitting. My name is Frankie. I was, I guess, in my life, what you might call one of the wise fellas. You know, I stood on the corner, rough people up to make money. I always wanted to be in the mob. I wanted to be a made man. You know, I got made all right. Don't cross the mob. Took me out of this world. You know, I was a Catholic when I was younger. I didn't really believe that. I thought money was more important. And they said, Frankie, you want to make some money? I said, yeah. They said, go rob a car for us. The boss wants it. I started with robbing cars. And it led to a life of crime. Inside of me, I heard the voice of Spirit, God, Holy Spirit, I called it. It said, Frankie, you're going the wrong path. But I didn't listen. Please don't do what I did. Don't. avoid the truth of God. These people were not my friends. They betrayed me. They killed me one night because I messed up a job. I don't even know when it was now. They said I've been in that dark place for a long time. Last thing I remember, 1977. That's where I thought I was going to be made that year. I was sure I was moving up. But I got killed. I never did get made. In mob circles, we call it made means you become a member. I was sure I was going to be made, but I didn't. This lady, Rose Fletcher, and some of these other people here helped me today. I was standing in this place. It was so scary. There were evil people yelling at me, threatening me. I run and I run. I can't escape. I said, God, help me. I hadn't called out to God in years. And these people came. And they said, Frankie, stop running. And I said, if I stop running, they're going to catch me, kill me. They said, you can't die. You're already dead. And then it hit me. That's true. Then it made sense. I remember that night I was trying to steal a car, and some of the boss's men come to see, two guys come to see me, Tony and the other one, Sharky. And they said, come with us, we're going to talk to you. And that's all I remember. I guess they told me they put a gun to my head. I don't remember. Please don't be like me. Don't ignore the voice of the Spirit. God will help anybody. I don't think I can keep talking. Fletcher says the power's weak. Thank you for letting me come talk to you. Don't be like me, please. Oh, there we go. Can you hear me? This is Rose. Oh, we're so pleased Frankie has come over to the light. Some of you here know that you're called to help the troubled souls. Please explore these works. They are works of mercy. They are essential to your soul's journey, and they will help many souls along the way. Whilst I'm here tonight, Fletcher says I can speak to a few of you, so I should like to do that. My dear friend Luana, are you here, dear? Hello, this is Rose. Can you hear me, Luana? I thank you for joining us this evening. Do you know I've been watching you lately? You have a heart that is very good. You're always seeking after the things of spirit. Now, we know over here that you've been in a little bit of a challenging time. But do not fear, my dear. Things are going to look up for you. And as you get into November, the month of November is a fresh start for you. There'll be a little bit more money for you this month. And you'll have a little less stress and a little bit joy. You have a great-grandmother in spirit who's around you as well. And you'll start to hear from her. Fletcher says we can't bring her through the medium tonight. But she's asked me to bring her greetings over to you. This is on your mother's side, your great-grandmother there. She's going to be giving you help in the coming days. And in the month of November, you'll feel her presence more closely. So, my dear, I come to just bring this information to you tonight. And I do hope that you will receive it in the spirit in which it's intended. I thank you, my dear, for receiving my message. Blessings to you. Oh, this is Fletcher. Give it just a moment. We got to adjust the frequency. Oh, there we go. Looks like we got the frequency sorted. There's a lot of electricity in the air tonight. Well, I think Rose has a few more words to say, so I'll be stepping out. There we are. Oh, my dears. Oh, we so enjoy this opportunity to gather with you. Is my dear friend here, Lady Amanda or Lady Janie of the Earl Grey Tea Tribe? Amanda, dear, can you hear me? Amanda Hargraves. This is Rose. My dear, we in the spirit world are most impressed with you. Your work on behalf of the spirit is profound. Over the years, you think you do so very little, but my dear, you don't see it as we do. From the spirit world, your cumulative efforts to do good and to align with higher power have brought a lot of good into the earth. We know, my dear, that you've struggled, and you're going to get some healing. In fact, my dear, I think Doris is here and would like to address this with you. So if I may, I'll let Doris come in. Doris, would you like to step in? Just a moment, dear Lady Amanda. Why, Amanda, dear, or do you like Janie? This is Doris Stokes. Oh, well, I've just come to tell you, first of all, don't be thinking about that death. Ain't nobody dying. You're not going to die. You can't die. But I do have to tell you that, you've got a lot of healing coming. You see, over here, we impart light unto the earth. And we know you've been having a little bit of worry with your eyes. And we know that you've been worried that it's your time to come over here. And it's not your time. Don't I always say you can't die for the life of you? And it's not time for you to cross over here. Sometimes, people got the idea that life is over. But it's really not over, because you can't come here until we let you come. And guess what, dear? It's not time to cash your ticket in. So you're not coming over. But I'm putting a little light into you, and I hope that you know that old Doris is here to help you. And so we send our light and love over to you. You'll be seeing over the next 2 weeks an improvement in the vision area, and you'll be having a little more lightness of heart. And by the way, I've been with your children looking in on them, and they're doing very good. So no worries there. Thank you, my dear, for receiving us. Hold on, this is Fletcher. Got to give it frequency adjustment here. Oh, there we go. I think I'm back, Fletcher. Can you hear me out there? Oh, it's so pleasant to have old Doris come. My dears, I must say to you, when we have the opportunity to visit with you, it brings us great joy, and I thank you for receiving me. I should also like to speak to my dear friend, Lady Kohler. Lady Kohler, this is Rose. Can you hear me, my dear? My dear, I want you also to know that you've been crossing through a difficult time. I do not want you to hold on to fear. Do you know, Jesus used to say, my vicar said this, I'm quoting him, but he said, Jesus used to say, what can one gain in one's life through worry? Look at the lilies of the field. How do they toil or spin? No, and yet they are arrayed in the finest of raiment, finer than the kings of the earth. My dear, we want to let you know that the things that you hold on to in fear of poverty, fear of homelessness, fear of death, none of these things are your lot in life, my dear. You have a beautiful future ahead of you, but you must let us work more closely with you. Doris is here as well and wishes to have a word. Fletcher, will you help Doris to come through? Well, I can't help but come back here. Try to understand. And it's like I always say, you can't die for the life of you. So many times people get all worried and they say, I'm going to die, I'm going to die. Ha, ain't nobody really ever died. You know, I died in 1987 and I thought, well, it's time to go home. And I went home. It's really quite simple, my dear. You just go home. So don't be worrying about all that stuff. It ain't no big deal. You ain't going to die. But it's not your time. You see, you've got a thing we call mission. You got to finish. And they're not going to let you go home till you do your mission. And I got to tell you, I looked a little at your chart. And your mission's quite long, dear. Quite long, that is. It's not your time. Well, you think you're leaving, but you're not. We got more important things to do than worry about that death, my dear. For example, we got to get you in your house. You got a house coming. All right? Next week's going to be a very important time for you. Didn't I tell you? I've been telling you through our medium here. Thursdays are important for you. And look what you got. Thursday. Next Thursday, you're going to get a blessing. But you've got to trust me. I spend so much time trying to help people. Nobody ever listens. My dear, listen to me. Doris is here trying to help you, my dear. All right? Stop the worrying. It's not getting you nowhere. Oh, you know, when I was young, I used to worry. My father used to say, Doris, he said, Doris, what you all worked up about? I said, oh, father, what about this? What about that? And he used to say, Doris, let it go, let it go. Oh, I don't know. And then my mother, she was quite a character, she was. You know, she used to tell me that my father was mad. She didn't believe in any of this. She said, Doris, you're going to turn out like he did, mad, talking to dead people. And the truth is, she was right. I did end up talking to dead people. But it was a good turning. It's because the truths of spirit are there. My father was a medium. He showed me, he taught me spiritualism. And I tell you, my mother never embraced it really, not really. But I'm better for it. And you're better for it too. You know, you've got a lot of spiritual gifts, but you've got to embrace them, my dear. You've got to not fight it. We've tried to hold back some of the earthbounds, but some of them getting through. I don't worry about none of that. We're not going to let them disturb you. If they get too much, you call me. Say, Doris, get them out of here. I'll be there in a jiffy. I'll be getting them out. But my dear, first of all, you've got to just live day to day in joy. The light of spirit is all about joy. You let the joy in, and you have the happiness, and you feel a connection. Sometimes you doubt spirit. You say, well, I know they're around, but I don't know what good it does me. You've got to let that go. You've got to let that doubt go. We're here to help you, my dear. Chin up. I'm going to put a little plaster on your forehead to bring some healing. And that's all you need to know. You've got a lot of good things coming for you. So just trust me. I'll be working with you. All right. Yes. Rose wants to come back. I'll see you, my dear. There we go. Lady Nicola, thank you so much, my dear, for receiving that message. We're so pleased to have you here. Oh, just a moment. Yes, Fletcher. Wonderful. Let us just inform me that our dear Frankie is already making progress in the spirit world. He's been given an extra light level. He's letting go of hatred in his heart, and he's glowing. We shall enjoy monitoring his progress, and perhaps he'll come and visit with us all again. Whilst I'm here, I should also like to speak to my dear friend, Denise. Denise D, my dear, can you hear me? This is Rose. Our medium calls you Denise D. I think that's a lovely name, and I quite like that. You know, in England, we used to call people nicknames, you know. Among the nobility, we'd always find some way to make a little funny joke of their title. So, for example, if somebody were the Baron of Tremeton, for example, we'd call them Treme or T for short. And, you know, it's a way to be a little irreverent, you know, because some of the nobility get a little full of themselves, don't they? I'm one of them, I must admit. You know, they used to call me Lady So-and-so, Lady this and that, you know. Anyways. Denise D, my dear, can you hear me? Now, dear, don't be nervous. I'm coming to visit with you. I know it's a bit strange, a disembodied voice coming from the spirit world. I know you're not quite used to it, my dear. But really, don't have any fear. We're not going to hurt you. My dear, I've been drawn to you this evening, for your light tells me that you've been through a difficult time lately. You've been feeling a little overwhelmed. You've experienced sorrow. My dear, I wish to tell you that there is good things yet to come for you. In terms of love, you are a very good man there, and I want you to have faith in him. You see, sometimes the road to love is very difficult. It takes a balancing act. You see, the man that you know, what is his name? Blatcher, what's his name? Darren. They're telling me the name Darren. You forgive me, my dear, I don't do names very well. But I have a message for him as well, my dear, which I'll get to in just a moment. But Denise, dear, you and Darren have a destiny together. The Spirit has brought you together to grow and to love and to learn together. So do not throw that away. And don't let him throw it away either. I'm here to tell both of you that the spirit world has a destiny for both of you. Sometimes, you see, when we are in a place of grief, we worry, we lose touch with each other, my dear. The thing that you must do to have improvement in that relationship is you must bring the spirit into it. It's not enough always just to love. You must say, Spirit, help me to love. And ask the Spirit to help him to love. You see, love is of the Spirit, my dear. It doesn't mean we don't have those physical things going on, that is attractions of the body, those hormones, isn't that what they call it? But that's only a temporary part of it, my dear. True love goes beyond that. I should like to bring a message over to Darren, if I might. Darren, I don't know that you can hear me, but I hope that you can, my dear. My name is Rose, and I wish to let you know that things are going to be well with you. I've been assured here by daughters that are putting healing into your back. There's been a lot of inflammation there, my dear, and we know that you've been overwhelmed. Try, my dear, to understand that your healing is connected to your ability to receive healing. Sometimes, my dear, and I don't say this as a criticism, but as an honest observation from the spirit world, you think that you have to do everything yourself, my dear. Slow down, let others help you. It will save your body, your mind, and your soul a lot of wear. Whilst I'm here, I have another person who'd like to speak to you. Hold on just a moment. Well, good evening, Darren. You may not be very familiar with me. My name is Flint. I'm known as Leslie Flint. I wanted to come here just to send my greetings to you. I've been assured by people over here that there will be healing for you in your back. And so do not worry. There will be healing coming for you. I have a friend here from the spirit world. Well, he's actually become my friend, but he's really your friend. His name is Aries. His lovely little text at Aries. I hope I'm saying that properly. But he's here in the spirit world, and he sends his love over to you. Those whom you love are taken care of over here. You need not worry. You shall not be abandoned. You might be surprised to understand that animals live on in the world of spirit, but they do. And so I wish to let you know that your beloved pet Aries is over here, looking quite lovely. He will be coming to visit you in the next few weeks. You will hear his voice. You will say, I said, heard him barking. You might even say, you felt his presence. And this is nothing strange. But animals often come back, especially beloved pets, to visit their owners. So simply allow that to happen and know that life is eternal. We're sending you healing from the spirit world, for both your back, your body, and for your heart, which is grieving. Life is eternal, and have hope in that, my dear. I thank you both for receiving me. My name is Flint, Leslie Flint. Oh, give us just a moment here. Oh, there we go. Can you hear me? This is Rose. What a blessing to have dear Leslie come in and visit with us tonight. Another message here. It's for my dear friend Robert. Robert Stevens, can you hear me, my dear? This is Rose. Robert, I wish to let you know that I know that you've been crossing through a difficult and challenging time at your work lately. It seems as if they pile more and more work on you. No one ever says thank you. Well, I want to be the representative of spirit today to tell you thank you. People do not always understand it, but your work is essential and vital to that school. You make people's jobs possible, though they don't often realize that. And some days you feel it's thankless there. We want you to know that those of us who reside here in the spirit world know of your toil and your labor. An honest day's work is a true blessing. And even though at times you may say, I wish to just walk away, we invite you to stay and to consider that there are many in the world who have less opportunities than you have. And so do not take them for granted, my dear. Be thankful even in the difficult days. Fletch has asked me to let you know that he's going to be visiting with your principal. There's a supervisor, a man whose principal has been rather difficult with you. And we want to let you know that we're going to work on softening his disposition so that things will be easier for you. So be of good cheer, my dear. You will have opportunities for growth in the next year. And in 2023, in fact, you will get a recommendation for promotion and there will be more money. So please be patient, my dear. But we of the spirit world thank you for your service. We know also of your spiritual work and how you have prepared your altar for meditation and for prayer and magical work. Anything that you do in the service of the spirit world and in service of God and the gods of the higher realms is not wasted. And so know that your efforts are noted here and appreciated. When we speak of God, I use the term God. I was an Anglican. But really it's bigger than God. I suppose the spiritualist term infinite intelligence is the best I can do at describing it. But God is mother and father and spirit. It is the all, and yet it is personal. It is everything and it is nothing. It has no true form. It is all forms. I cannot, my dear, even begin, I suppose, to describe it in words that would make sense. But I wish to simply say to you, Robert, my dear Robert, I do hope you're listening to me, that you have been noted by infinite intelligence, and your work, your devotion is noted, and you will not be left or abandoned. Your heart is in the right place, my dear. Have confidence and keep talking to our world. We can hear you, and we shall help you. I send you my blessings, my dear. Thank you for receiving me. Oh, this is Fletcher. Hold on just a moment. A little bit of static interference here. Oh, there we go. Well, I think Rose has a few more words. Go ahead, Rose. You can step in. I'm stepping in. Oh, there we go. Can you hear me out there? Oh, it's such an interesting evening, isn't it? Do you know, we never know what the conditions on the earth will be when we come in. Sometimes the electrical field around the earth affects our transmission. There are days when we can hardly get a word in and the voices fade. I should like also to speak to another dear friend whilst I'm here. Marjana, can you hear me, my dear? It is so good to be with you. I've got a dear friend here who should like to speak to you, my dear. She's asked me to put her through, and Fletcher said the power is sufficient. But before I let her through, I should like to also say that we know that you've also crossed through a time of struggle, my dear. Do not be afraid. Heaven is helping you. I should let her come through. I have trouble speaking through this. Marzana, can you hear me? I have a little problem speaking with you through this medium. Hold on just a minute. The power is not strong. You can help me. Yes, Fletcher help. Well, there we go. I think I can talk. This is your grandma. You know me, Ania. It is I. I want you to know that I'm very proud of you. So often you put up with so much difficulties. Your mother and father love you very much, but sometimes they not understand you. Sometimes I know you get frustrated, and you'll say, I wish they would understand me. When you have these times, you come talk to me. You may think I'm far away, but I'm very close. Close as whisper, as they say. Over here, there is a mountain of light. This is similar to what I had in Poland, Jasna Gora. Here it is more beautiful than anything on the earth. And I go there and I walk the mountain. You see, my legs are not tired anymore as they once were. And I want you to walk and be thankful for youth. Life passed very quickly. So quickly it passes. And we do not appreciate our bodies. We do not appreciate our minds. We have such little faith. So often I used to just pray and then think, God does no care for me. But God loves us all. When I come over here, the first thing I do is I say, oh, God, forgive me for the time I did not have faith. God understands so much more than we understand. We people judge each other. We sit and we say bad things. We do all these stupid things. I was not always kind in earth. I know you love me, but you not see me when I was younger. I a little selfish at times, a little unkind. You are so much better than I was. And you have a faith, and probably bigger faith than I say. I would say yes. So please, my dear, please reach out in faith. We come with love only to help you. When you have a hard time, you call me. Say, Grandma, Ania, help me. I'll be there. I no forget you. No forget you. I just want to come and tell you I love you very much. Let your mama and papa know that I am here. I send my love to all of them. Kiss them all. I love them all very, very much. I have to go now, my darling. I love you. Oh, this is Fletcher. Give us just a moment. Oh, I think Rose has a few more words. Just a moment. Yeah, we gave my deals. Go here, man. Where is my dear neighbor, Lady Brianna? Lady Brianna's Rose. Come here, my dear. It's so amazing to understand the soul that we actually knew each other, my dear, a long time ago. You don't remember it, and I barely remember it, my dear. But you were a neighbor of mine. It's amazing because over here in the spirit world, we start to understand the interconnectedness of life. My dear, right now you're feeling a bit disconnected from life. And you're feeling a little worried. You're feeling, do I have a place in society? My dear, when you were on earth with us, my friend, you used to worry that as well. You used to say, do I have a place in society? Well, you know, my dear, I said I'd take care of that. I brought you to some of my grand affairs, and you had a place in society. Not that I could do much for you. You did it all yourself, my dear. And I come here again to remind you of your many talents and many gifts. Please, my dear, do not doubt yourself. We know that you've been doubting yourself, feeling a little depressed, a little unmotivated. My dear, please have confidence. Do not forget that those of us who reside here come to help you. You shall not be left or abandoned. You will not fall to the wayside, nor will you starve. But know that infinite intelligence and its wisdom has you under its watching gaze. You shall receive help in that financial situation in the next 2 weeks. So be of good cheer. Things are changing for you, my dear. You shall hear from a woman who wishes to speak further about a job opportunity. And put on your best face, my dear. And don't be po-faced, as we used to say. Be cheerful and joyful. Let your light shine. You know, you have within you a great spiritual light, but you forget it sometimes. If we want you to look within and find the light, I shall come and help you, my dear. Just call upon me. Thank you, my dear, for receiving me. Always a pleasure to come and speak with you. Thank you, my dear. Oh, my dear, Fletcher's asked me to let all of you know that the power is starting to wane here. And they said they cannot tax the medium any further. We thank you, my dear, for receiving us tonight. For those of, just a moment, hold on. Yes, Fletcher, what's that? Oh, you think so? Well, if you think so, I suppose so. Yes, we shall then, all right. Fletcher said it looks like the medium's power is a little stronger than we thought. And he said he'd like Leslie to come in to speak to all of you here tonight. Leslie wishes to bring a message here for all the participants here tonight. So if you're here this evening, this will be also for you. Just a moment, my dear. We're going to try to bring him through. Leslie, thank you so much. Fletcher, thank you. Well, the power is not too weak. I should like to come here and speak to each of you. My name is Flint, Leslie Flint. Some of you already know of me. But I wish to come here this evening because it is a labor of love that I am still able to serve the spirit world from over here in the spirit. You know, whilst I was on the earth, I did a lot of work. I would do seances. I used to, help others find their loved ones, In my seances, voices would often materialize in the air. Those of you who know of my work are perhaps familiar with that experience. We call it direct voice. I'm working with this medium here, for we feel that he has sufficient power, though he needs a little more development. We're going to try to eventually do direct voice through him. But for the moment, the power is not strong enough, and we shall come through him through the voice apparatus. Anyways, I don't wish to beleaguer that point, but what I've come to speak to all of you here tonight about is the importance of opening your own spiritual gifts, to be open to the reality of the spirit world. I was a young man when I first drifted into the spiritualist churches, and I received amazing experiences. I must say, the mediums of my day were not particularly polished. No, they were not. They lacked a little bit in, I should say, social graces. But I did lack those social graces myself. I was not from an upper class family. I was a poor Cockney lad. Over the years, though, my first wife, her name was Edith. She was a good woman. She took me in as a young man, and she said, Leslie, you cannot be going to the spiritualist circles and not know how to eat properly. And she taught me to eat with a knife and fork. It's a funny thing, she didn't want to embarrass me. She said, Leslie, why don't you come around for dinner tonight? And then we'll have some spiritualist teaching. And she was a wonderful medium herself. And so I would go and have dinner. But really what she was doing was training me. She'd say, oh, let me show her how to use the fork and knife. She was a wonderful woman. She did it in a way that made me not realize that what a country bumpkin I was. And slowly she taught me etiquette. She taught me how to speak a little more properly. And she said, Leslie, you're going to be a very well-known medium in your life. And I said, well, I doubt that, my dear, but a nice thought. She said, no, I've received the message from the spirits. My life evolved, as many of you know, that I became a direct voice medium. I want each of you here tonight to understand that you all that are here this evening have spiritual gifts. You have been called here by the spirit world. You may have thought you inadvertently wandered in upon this channel. Is that what is called, a channel? This is ironic. We talk about channeling through our mediums, and here we're channeling through some, what do you call, computer device. Channel upon channel, eh? Well, the reason I've come here is to help each of you to understand that this day of modern technology is allowing more and more people to be exposed to the truths of the spirit world. Some of you here tonight are being called to greater amounts of service, to be mediums yourselves. There are very few mediums in the world today, very few trance channels, very true direct voice mediums. Very true that it has waned, especially in the Western world, that spirituality is fading. In my day, there was a lot of skepticism, but people still had some level of reverence, I should say, for churches and for mediums, and our spiritualist churches were doing very well. I was a medium at a wonderful spiritualist church I started called the Temple of Light. We had a small gathering, but a very devoted gathering. Some of you here have been wanting to sit in circles. We invite you to begin to form your own home circles if you're feeling so inspired. It is through the home circle that I discovered my own mediumship. What you do is you meet once a week for maybe an hour or two. Don't make it too long and onerous. Nobody will want to come. But we invite you to have a gathering. We will sit in a circle and let the spirit work. Some of you will become trance mediums. Some of you will become direct voice mediums. Some of you will become other sorts of mental mediums. There's so many forms of mediumship. But I want all of you to know that if you're here this evening and you're hearing the sound of my voice, it is because we have called you here. Some of you feel that you have been forgotten by God and forgotten by the Spirit. I understand this. I went through a period of my youth where I wondered if God even can. But when the spirits came to me in the seances, I was amazed. So I said, there must truly be life after death. And for many years, many years, they stayed with me. So try to understand that you're setting out on an adventure that will last you a lifetime. Don't be afraid to begin. Simply start. If you can start with a home circle, so much the better. If you cannot start with a home circle, start with yourself. Make some time to gather with our world. Call upon Miss Leslie. Will you help us? I should be more than thrilled to come and help you. For those of you here tonight who are experiencing this for your first time, you're saying, how is it so that a spirit can speak through a medium? Try to understand that it is very complex mechanics. But you might think in terms of modern technology. You have upon the earth, what do you call these phones, these telephones that are wireless, cell phones. In my day, we had radios. I suppose you have radio, but we call it the wireless set. Now you call your phones wireless. Within each of you, there's a little transistor, a transmitter. You can receive messages from the other side. And when that transmitter is upgraded, you can receive our actual voices through you. This medium's transmitter operates at a higher frequency, and therefore we're able to transmit directly through him, to control the vocal cords, to speak to you through the voice apparatus. So do not be afraid of spirit. We shall not harm you. And all safeguards are in place, that you might work with us more closely. So for each of you here tonight, first of all, I should also like to say, first, know that you are loved by many over here. Those whom you have loved and lost are not lost. They exist in a realm of light and beauty that you cannot imagine. We cannot describe it here in words that would make sense. But know that they reside in a world of beauty. It is far more beautiful than the most beautiful places on earth. Think in your mind of the most beautiful place on the earth and multiply it by 1,000,000 billion times, and you will begin to understand the spirit world. I should also like to say, for those of you here tonight who are grieving, who feel abandoned in your lives, who feel no one cares. Know, like how, that you have at least one friend in the world. You have me, Leslie Flint. And I know that Rose has often told many of you that she also wants to be your friend. Fletcher would like to be your friend. And so there you now have 3 friends if you feel alone. We see all about the earth, loneliness today. Many of you felt alone, that no one cares. But those of us who live in the spirit, we do care. And so I do invite all of you to let yourselves have friendship with our world. And in so doing, you will find a new joy in your hearts, a new beginning in your lives. Let the spirit world help you. It's the only reason we come, to give you encouragement, to give you hope, and to let you know that, as Doris says, there is no death, there is no dying, and you cannot die for the life of you. I thank you for receiving me. Fletcher says the power is starting to fade. I think Rose wishes to say good night, so I shall step from our medium. Thank you for receiving me. My name is Flint, Leslie Flint. Oh, there we go. Oh, the power is truly going now. I wish to thank each of you for receiving us tonight. And Leslie has spoken words of truth. I only wish I'd taken the time to go to his seances whilst I was on the earth. He was a meat. I'd heard of him in my day, but did not really follow spiritualism. I believe my neighbor Madge did attend one of his seances. I'll have to ask her about that. Well, my dears, thank you for receiving me. Yes, Fletcher, the power's starting to go. I do ever so much hope that whatever you are, you'll receive my words this evening. And I thank you very much. And oh, the power's starting to go. But I do thank you. And I hope that you will know that those of us who live in the spirit world love you very much. We will come. Roses. Yeah. Hold on just a second, guys. Ooh, I think I'm back. I'm a little spaced out when I come back from channeling. Did everything come through okay? Did you guys get some messages tonight? I never know what happened. Let me see. I'm putting on my glasses. I can't see. Thank you, Robin. Robin says, beautiful message, Mr. Flint. Oh, thank you. Mr. Flint, Leslie was here. I thought I heard him at one point. Sometimes when I channel, I can hear a little snippet here and there, you know. Yay. Amsterdam still sent me roses. Robert Seam says, I did. Scott from South Carolina says, 43 watching. Good turnout. All right. There's Amsterdam with the roses. Thank you. Thank you. Bear says, you rock to get a drink. Yeah, I need a drink. Lady Bree said, Rose's message made me, oh, she brought you a message. Made me feel so much better. How cool is that? Stardust, he says, great seance, Psychic Bob. Rose brought my grandma and Nia over. Much appreciated. I'm so glad. Melinda Turner says, my God, that was beautiful. Oh, sounds like it was a good night. This is the sad part about channeling. I'm not present, so I don't know I don't know everything that came through, but I trust it was all okay, A new spirit named Frankie came through. Oh, that's interesting. Okay. I felt when I was under some intense energy passing through my body, but I wasn't really connected. It's like when I channel, it's like I'm sleeping. I'm like half there and like, I don't know what they're doing. Cool. Well, I'm so glad. Oops, hold on. My screen's locking up here. Yay. Hey, there's Sean Liddell. Good to see you, Sean. Welcome. Well, I'm so glad you guys came tonight. Listen, we're having a private trance seance. Like we saw, but it's going to be a private one next week. I think we are full on that. Cola, do we have any seats left for next week's event? It's going to be Wednesday, the 26th. If you want to be in, I think we're full, but we are keeping a waiting list in case somebody drops out, I think. Okay. Lady Bree says, Trance channeling seems like the ultimate powered. Oh, I love that. There's Michelle Marzano. Hey, just came in the last minute. Heard Leslie Flint message. Need to hear that. Thank you, Baroness. Yeah. Baroness, thank you for moderating tonight. Everybody give a shout out for Baroness. Give us thumbs up for her work. All right, so the seance is full. Guys, I'm sorry our seance is already full for next Wednesday. We're holding a private seance on Zoom. For those of you who have registered with Baroness, I will get the list and send out invoices this week, probably over the weekend. So yeah, I'll send it out on Friday, actually. Friday would be good. And that way if somebody has to cancel, we have time to notify people. So, hi, Michelle. Good to see you. Well, you guys rock. I'm so glad we're here. I hope this has been a good night for you. Whew, I feel like kind of spacey still. Sean Liddell's giving me thumbs up. Oh, thank you. Amsterdam's giving me some beautiful flowers. Thank you. October Dawn gave me heart. Isn't that wonderful? I'm so glad. Well, thank you for the honor of giving me a chance to hold this seance with you guys. Thank you for taking the time to join us. It's always a great honor. Well, guys, I'm going to wrap it up. I need to get some dinner and have a little rest. Tomorrow's another busy day. I want to say thank you to all you've been contacting Baroness to get on the schedule for our seance. Thank you for those who've been calling for private readings. I'm still working on getting back to people. I have a little backlog. If you want to visit my website, it's PsychicBob.com. Ola, can you put it in there? If people want to buy a private session with me or, want to register for Saturday's class. This Saturday, we're doing a class on electronic voice phenomena. Okay. So if you want to be in on that, go to my website, PsychicBob.com. I'm going to send out an email here in just a little while to remind people. All right. Baroness is ready for dinner too. All right. You're welcome. Thank you, guys. I'm so glad. Thank you for all the welcomes. Thank you. Thank you, Psychic Bob and Cola, for a seance. I loved it. Wonderful. Well, listen, guys, you guys rock. Psychic Bob loves you. I'm not turning on my white light yet because I've got to ease back into light. That's just how my body works. But I want to say thank you for being here. I love you all, and I hope you have a wonderful night. October Dawn says, today is my birthday. That was cool. Be blessed. Happy birthday, Dawn. Welcome. Thanks for joining us tonight. Thank you, Scott, for joining us. All right. Tomorrow night, by the way, tomorrow is Friday. We're going to do live psychic readings, same time as this, 7 p.m. Eastern U.S. time. That's 7 Eastern, 6 Central, 5 Mountain, 4 Pacific. For those of you in London, midnight London time, 1 a.m. Paris time. Love to have you come out. to live psychic readings tomorrow. Bring your psychic questions, and we'll see what happens. You guys are best. I love you. Thanks for being here. We'll see you tomorrow night for Messages from the Spirit World Live, Friday night. Blessed be. Good night.